folks, it's Crystalline. Welcome back to my channel. I am back to filming in this room because the lighting is better and it's honestly kind of just easier to film in here. So that's the reason for changing location. But anyway, today's video is going to be my top 10 favorite plants of 2020. Now, I know I did a wish list video, so those will hopefully be my top 10 favorite plants in 2021, but I'm going to do a top 10 video every year so that I can compare like what my favorite plants were each year and how that changed to the next year. I'm also going to be doing a video of my 10 least favorite plants. So lots of lists of 10 videos. But yeah, so today's video is just my top 10 favorite plants, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why they're my favorite plant. So let's just get right into it. So the first plant on this list is my Philodendron Brazil. I have this beautiful full hanging basket of Philodendron Brazil, and I got this plant in Savannah. So if you've watched my Savannah plant vlog or my Savannah plant haul, you will have seen this already. But this is one of my favorite plants because it's super easy to care for. I don't have to think about it very much. I have it hanging on a curtain rod in front of a south-facing window. You will see that in my next houseplant tour, but it wasn't up in my first houseplant tour. Yeah, so I just have it hanging, and it continues to grow. It's a plant that I can chop up and propagate whenever I want because it's pretty easy to propagate. It's got heart-shaped leaves. It's a philodendron. It's got variegation, and I think the colors are really cool. It's got some lime green, and it's got some splashes of like different greens, and each new leaf has a different pattern. So it's a super fun plant. It's vining, and honestly, it's just a great plant. So these plants aren't in any order, but I'm just grabbing them as they're closest to me. So the next plant on this list is my Aglaonema Sparkling Sarah. So this made it onto the list for many reasons, just like the Philodendron Brazil. It's got pink variegation. That's one of the biggest reasons. Super easy to care for because it's an Aglaonema. Honestly, I don't have to do really anything to care for this plant except for water it once in a while. It is sitting probably about 10 feet back from my south-facing window, so it's getting like medium light, but I haven't had any problems with it so far. I haven't had any pest problems. I don't know how much I've talked about them, but I love Aglaonemas. They're one of my favorite houseplants. I think they are super cool because they can handle pretty much any lighting. I'm going to be posting a video of some houseplant chores because I need to clean a lot of my leaves, so I will be doing that for Plant Miss. Yeah, but Aglaonemas are just great. And this one is super cute, and it's in a fun pot that I got at, I don't remember where I got this pot. The West End Outlets. That's where I got it. I got it at the West End Outlets after a trip to a winery. So fun memories with the pot. I was with my friends, and so I put one of my favorite plants in this pot. So yeah, Aglaonema Sparkling Sarah. The next plant I want to talk about is my Monstera Elbow. I got this from the farmer's market. I featured this plant first in my my farmer's market haul, my last farmer's market haul of the season, and I have also featured this plant in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. It's a Monstera. I love it because it's a tiny plant, and you will see that I love tiny plants. I'm really excited to grow this plant to maturity, so I was really happy to find a nice small plant, and I got it from the farmer's market, so that's my favorite place to get plants from, and it's just beautiful. It was one of the first plants I put on my wish list when I started really getting into and collecting plants. And so I was really happy to get it. And yeah, it's a super fun plant. The next plant I want to talk about is my jade plant. This is the only succulent. This is the only succulent that you will ever see me feature on a top 10 favorite plants list. Probably. I may eat those words in the future. I might find some succulents that I'm just really in love with. But I think I've talked about jade plants before. I really like how they grow. I really like that they get more of a tree trunk like stem as they get older. And I think that super mature jade plants are really interesting and they can live forever. And yeah, it's really easy to care for. I just have it sitting in my south facing window. I like never water it because it's a succulent. And yeah, jade plant is on my list of my top 10 favorite houseplants. The next plant I want to talk about is the Peperomia Frost. This is one of two peperomias that will be on my top 10 list. And that surprised me because I really don't love peperomias that much, but the Peperomia Frost has been surprisingly easy for me. It has these nice silvery leaves, and it's been super easy to care for, and I have it in this pot. I honestly might bias myself by putting certain plants in certain pots, and that being the reason they end up on my favorite list. But yeah, this is a Peperomia Frost, and I got this plant from an plant Atlanta plant club friend that I've made, and I actually have two other plants in here that I got from her as well. But she's super kind, prices her plants very reasonably, and I've just really enjoyed getting plants from her because I know that she takes good care of them, and I know that I'm getting a quality plant from her when I get it. So yeah, Peperomia Frost. So while we are on the subject of my Atlanta Plant Club friend that I have purchased several plants from, I figured I might as well bring this plant out next because I also got it from her. This is my Ficus Elastica Ruby. I featured my other Ficus Elastica Burgundy in my houseplants to use as Christmas trees video, but I have had great luck with Ficus Elastica plants in comparison to fiddly figs, which will be on my, spoiler alert, they will be on my least favorite plants video. But yeah, so I love the way that the leaves come in like with this really bright pink and then they fade to a cream. I think these leaves just look like they were painted with like watercolor. And I got this plant from her as a rehab because one of the leaves had been burnt by a candle or something. But other than that, it was in great shape. So it's been no hassle at all to rehab. And it's growing for me. I have it sitting in my bathroom in the south facing window in there. So it's getting bright dappled light and it seems to be loving life and it keeps growing. So I'm really happy about that. So yeah, my Ficus Elastica Ruby is the next plant on my list. And so the final plant on my list that I got from this Atlanta Plant Club friend is my string of turtles. I got this plant as several cuttings and it has just taken off. It grows so quickly. I'm just in awe of this plant. I have taken cuttings of it to swap through Prop Don't Chop, and it's still growing as soon as I cut it. It seems to grow right back, and this string of turtles is just so fun and so happy. Again, I have it sitting in my window, and it's loving life and growing like crazy. The cuttings that I sent to one of my Prop Don't Chop friends are also growing super quickly. So I'm guessing that is something pretty common for this plant. And yeah, it's in a small pot. I love small plants. I love these small pots. I'll put a link in the description for where I got these pots from. They're succulent pots, but they have a drainage hole at the bottom and they come with a saucer to sit them on. So since I love tiny plants, I thought these pots would be perfect, and I love them and I will absolutely be buying more of them. Yeah, string of turtles. The next plant on my list is neither a strawberry plant nor a begonia, but it is a strawberry begonia. So the reason that I wanted to put this plant on the list is that I got this plant as a in a tiny little 2-inch pot, and although I have not really done much to care for this plant, it has grown a lot since I got it. And I think it's cool. They look like little lily pads. They are fuzzy leaves. And we all know I love velvety leaves. So I think this plant is just beautifully colored. Let me bring it closer. You can see the leaves are this red, sort of translucent, sparkly with the green veins. So yeah, it's just a cool little plant. Doesn't require much care. Don't have to water it very often. And yeah, strawberry begonia. The next plant on my list is my tiny baby Philodendron micans. I have several of these plants, so this is like one of many that are growing around my house or my apartment, because I took node cuttings with no leaves, and those nodes have put out baby plants. So I have a bunch of tiny little Philodendron micans babies growing around my house, and I love them. I love growing plants from their baby state and growing them to maturity. I do love my mature micans that I have as well, so I know that this is a plant that I'm going to like even once it reaches maturity. But yeah, tiny plants, my tiny baby micans, one of several tiny baby micans, is on my list. So the final plant on my list is also a plant that I have several of, and I could not make this video without featuring at least one of them. But the reason I decided to feature this one is because it was, let me tell you what it is first. It is my Philodendron Pink Princess, again, one of several. I decided to feature this one because it is the top cutting from my very first Pink Princess, and the bottom, so I took this top cutting because I wanted to propagate it, and then I sent the rooted bottom part of the plant to Kayla, my very favorite prop don't shop friend that I have made so far. Shout out to Kayla, love you. She's just been great. She has been like, honestly, like one of the coolest people that I've ever met, and I'm so happy to have met her through the prop don't shop group. And yeah, so she has the mother plant of this plant, and it is growing well. This plant has been through a lot. This is the only cutting that survived from the cuttings that I took of the of my original Pink Princess. So I've learned a lot with this plant. This was the first leaf that came out in my care, and I tried to gently guide it out of the petiole because, as you see, this plant likes to put out its leaves in a very weird fashion. But yeah, these are the leaves that have come out in my care, and then Kayla has the mother plant. So yeah, I'm emotionally attached to this Pink Princess as well as just liking it for its pink leaves. So yeah, that is the last plant on the list. So those are my top 10 favorite plants of 2020. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I am participating in Plant Miss, so I am putting out new videos every single day. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. In the comments down below, tell me what your favorite plant of 2020 is, or tell me what your top 10 favorite plants of 2020 are, or however many plants you would like to put on the list. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks, guys.